This scam call center is about to be exposed for stealing millions of dollars from innocent victims. Shh, stop it, Jim. You're going to make me blush. But, let me explain how I uncovered this scam and completely dismantled their operation, leading to a shocking conclusion. It all started when I came across a company called Refund. They promised to help people recover cryptocurrency that they lost to scams, claiming they could get all your money back in no time. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's because it was. I quickly realized they were actually crypto recovery scammers. I decided to dig deeper and investigate who they really were. Once I gained access to their operation, I realized the scam call center was much larger than expected, with 25 to 30 agents working around the clock. I even got access to their CCTV cameras, which allowed me to see the entire layout of their office, including the entrance, lunchrooms, and various smaller rooms where the agents worked. Special thanks to Marwin for helping me access this information. His channel will be linked below, so make sure to check it out. This call center was based in Johannesburg, South Africa, specifically in the design quarter. We figured this out by spotting cars parked outside the office at certain angles on the cameras. I even managed to map out the office floor plan using the camera angles. The scam worked like this. A victim who had previously been scammed would sign up on the Refund website, providing their details and explaining that they needed help recovering their money. Unfortunately, many of these victims found the site through fake reviews or were targeted by scammers, who told them they could get their funds back. Once a victim signed up, their data would be entered into a CRM admin panel, and they'd be assigned an agent who would call them back. By this time, these scammers had access to information from over 50,000 victims. Here's how the scam started. A victim would get a call from an agent like Charisse, would introduce herself as an agent from Refund, and ask about the scam they experienced. Victims would recount how they were scammed, often by a fake investment scheme. The scammers would act like recovery experts, offering sympathy and promises of help. They'd trick the victim into believing that if they paid a fee, they could retrieve their lost funds. Here's an example of how the scammers would manipulate the victims. Don't worry, you shouldn't have to pay a tax to withdraw your own money. But if you don't act now, you might never get it back. The agents would then push for the victim to pay for a recovery package, offering different tiers of services with reports and specialists for a hefty price. Example, Package 1 would include a forensic evidence report, legal dispute services, and so on. But the truth is, this was all a scam. The victims were often coerced into giving credit card details, and the scammers would process the payments illegally using their own system to get approval. They'd even use the victim's data to further manipulate them. Sometimes, the agents would celebrate after successfully scamming a victim. They'd high-five each other and even run laps around the office as if they'd won a prize. Their reward? A bonus from the boss for every scam that was pulled off. They'd also get occasional treats like KFC, bought by the boss to celebrate their success. The agents didn't know it, but they were being scammed by their own employer. The more they scammed, the less they kept. I managed to obtain the monthly sales figures from these scammers. And from January to July of 2024, they made over $1 million in sales. This wasn't just small time, it was a full-on operation. Once they got a successful sale, the scammers would move the money to different accounts and often encourage the victims to keep paying for more packages. It was all about squeezing as much money out of them as possible. Eventually, the scammers started getting more desperate as the investigation grew. When they realized the authorities were closing in, Tyrone, the main boss, started firing employees and moved the entire operation, but it was too late. The evidence was already in place. When I confronted Tyrone over the phone, he denied everything. He tried to play the victim, even accusing me of misinformation. But the truth was clear. He was the mastermind behind the entire scam. Despite his attempts to cover up the operation, he couldn't escape the truth. We continued to gather evidence, and after months of silence from the South African authorities, Tyrone and his team became more nervous. His former employees came forward revealing the truth. Tyrone's operation was unraveling, and he knew it. I finally managed to get in touch with one of the remaining admins. They revealed that they had moved offices and let some employees go. But they couldn't hide the fact that they were still running the scam. Their lives were falling apart, and the truth was being exposed. As I spoke to the admin, They admitted to moving offices and acknowledged the ongoing investigation. Tyrone's empire was crumbling, and I had the evidence to prove it.